Hello, and welcome to Easy English Stories. It is good to have you here. Today's story is slow and gentle and a little sad in a warm way. It is about an old woman, the sea, and a postcard that comes 50 years late. The words are simple, and I will read slowly. You can just listen, or you can listen and read along with the words on the screen. This story is at level A2 to B1. So make a cup of tea, sit back, and let's begin. The story is called A Letter from the Sea. Martha lived in a small house by the sea. She was old now, and she lived alone. Every morning, she opened her window and looked at the water. She liked the sound of the waves, and she liked the cry of the gulls. The sea was always there, grey and blue and slow, and it made her feel calm. One cold morning in autumn, there was a knock at her door. It was the postman. "Good morning, Martha," he said. "I have something for you today." He gave her one postcard, and then he went away. Martha was surprised. She did not get many letters now. The postcard was old. The paper was soft and yellow, and the picture on the front was faded. It showed a bright blue sea and small white boats in a faraway harbour. Martha went inside and sat down at her table by the window. She put on her glasses and she turned the postcard over. On the back, in old blue ink, she saw her own name. Martha. The words under it were short and simple. "Dear Martha, the sea here is warm and blue. I think of you every day. I will come home in September. Wait for me." And at the end, one small word. Tom. Martha read it again, and again. Then she looked at the stamp in the corner and at the postmark with its little date. The date was faded, but she could read it. The postcard was sent 50 years ago. 50 years. "Oh, Tom," she said softly. Tom. Who was Tom? Martha closed her eyes, and she remembered. Many years ago, when she was young, there was one summer she never forgot. Her hair was long and dark, and the days were warm and long. And there was a young man named Tom. He had a kind smile and warm eyes, and he worked on the fishing boats in the harbour. That summer, Martha and Tom walked by the sea every evening. They ate warm bread together, and they watched the sun go down on the water. Tom made her laugh. He was gentle and good. Martha had not thought about that summer for many years. But now, with the old postcard in her hands, it all came back to her, warm and bright, like sunshine on the waves. At the end of that summer, Tom had to go away. He was a sailor, and his ship was leaving for a long journey far across the sea. On their last evening, they stood together by the harbour. "I don't want you to go," Martha said quietly. "I know," said Tom, "but I will come back. I promise. I will write to you, and I will come home in September, and then we will never say goodbye again." He held both her hands in his. "Wait for me, Martha," he said. "I will," she said. "I will wait." The next morning, his ship sailed away. Martha stood on the old harbour wall and watched it go. It became smaller and smaller until it was only a tiny dot on the sea, and then it was gone. She waved until her arm was tired, and then Martha waited. The summer ended, and September came, warm and golden. She watched the harbour every single day. She looked for his ship, and she looked for a letter from him. But no ship came into the harbour, and no letter came to her door. September passed. Then came October, and then the long, cold winter. Still there was nothing. In the town, people began to talk in quiet voices. They said the sea had been hard and cruel that year. They said that some ships had gone out and never come home again. Slowly, sadly, Martha began to understand. Tom was not coming back. The sea had kept him. The years went by, the way years do. Martha grew older. She stayed in her little house by the sea, and she made a quiet life. But deep in her heart, there was always a small, cold stone of sadness. And it was not only because Tom was gone, it was something else, something worse. No letter had ever come from him, not one word. And so, over all those long years, a sad thought had grown inside her. Maybe, at the end, out there on the sea, Tom had forgotten her. Maybe she had waited her whole life for a man who never even thought to write. But now, Martha sat by her window, and she held Tom's postcard in her old hands. And suddenly, she understood something new. Tom had not forgotten her. He wrote to her. Here were his words, in blue ink. "I think of you every day." And here, "Wait for me." He had kept his promise. He sent the letter just as he said he would. The little postcard was simply lost. For 50 long years, it had waited in some dark and forgotten place, and then, somehow, it started moving again, slowly, slowly, all the way to her door. His last warm words had taken 50 years to arrive. But they came. Tom had not forgotten her at all. He was thinking of her, right to the end. Martha put on her warm coat, and she walked down to the harbour, slowly, with the postcard held close to her heart. The autumn wind was cold, and the gulls flew and called above her head. She stood on the old harbour wall, in the very same place where she had waved goodbye so many years before. She looked out at the wide grey sea. "I did wait for you, Tom," she said quietly. "I waited a long time, and now at last, I know. You did not forget me." The waves came in one after another, the way they always had and always would. Martha was not angry anymore, and she was not afraid. She felt something soft and warm inside, like the quiet end of a long, long day. Then Martha went home. She did not put the postcard away in a drawer. Instead, she stood it up on the windowsill, right next to the window that looked out at the sea. Now, every morning, when she opened her window, she would see it, the blue sea, the little white boats, and Tom's simple words. She made herself a cup of tea, and she sat down by the window. The sea was still there, grey and beautiful and calm. And for the first time in many years, when Martha thought about that long-ago summer, she did not feel sad. She smiled. Some letters take a very long time to arrive, but the love inside them does not grow old. And so, after 50 years, the letter from the sea finally came home. I hope you enjoyed this gentle story. If you understood it, well done. That is real English, and you followed it to the end. If some parts were hard for you, please don't worry. You can listen again, as slowly as you like. There are a few simple questions in the description, so you can check what you remember. If you like this story, please subscribe to Easy English Stories and stay a while with me. Next time, we have another quiet story to share. Until then, take care, keep listening, and learn English, one story at a time.